gate was 11.1 million. It's the fourth highest gate in UFC history. The attendance was 19,040. The bonuses went to Dober, Diego, Kelleher, Olenek, and McGregor. I gave out 5 tonight. I'm feeling very generous tonight. And then the 50-50 raffle was $108,650. Who's got the first question?
Dana, I want to ask you just quickly on medical updates. Macy Barber was obviously clearly hurt. Do you have any initial updates on her?
She was transported, but I don't know what's going on. Elliott was transported with a head and face CT, and obviously Cerrone.
With Macy, I want to ask you real quick. Do you know if there was any pre-existing condition, or what did you make of the doctor coming in? We don't often see a knee check in the middle of a fight like that.
So weird. I know. I don't know, man. That was weird. Where's Hunter at? Did you ever find out what that was about? You want to check her knee? All right.
Fair enough. Just quickly on Cowboy's condition, precautionary, or does it look like he has a broken orbital, or do we know?
I thought he had a broken nose, but I don't know. What do I know?
Fair enough. Let's get to the main event. Conor McGregor, obviously an incredible victory for him tonight. What were your thoughts on his performance?
I was blown away. He looked unbelievable. You won't hear another peep out of me about fighting at 170. So, I know that there's always critics and there's always somebody who has an opinion. People are going to say that Cowboy was shot, which is total bullshit. And Conor McGregor came out. He looked fast. He hit hard. He had a game plan. And he finished a real tough kid who came to win.
Obviously, Conor McGregor is great for UFC business, but I wonder, Manny Pacquiao's team has already sent out a poster of him. Floyd Mayweather has just now sent out a poster of, the rematch. And, is this going to be good for you, or is this bad for you now that Conor's going to be so much in demand again that now you got to go through all these options and figure out what works?
Was Conor out of demand?
No.
Yeah. These are great problems to have. I'll deal with them.
Nice. I know you don't typically release numbers, but can you give us an idea of, how this pay-per-view is looking?
Killed it.
Like
the number that we did on a fucking streaming service is unbelievable. Yeah. Let me tell you what, and I got to say this publicly too, because the job that ESPN did promoting this fight, I have never seen anything like it. You guys have been in the fight business for a long time. I haven't seen anything like this in my life. You couldn't turn on an ESPN channel without knowing the fight was on. One of my friends was showing me today, and I don't know this shit, but there's on your phone, there's like malls that you can go to, right? Like a mall. You can go shopping and buy stuff from all these different stores. To get into the store to buy, you had to get through the Conor McGregor Cowboy fight first and select to buy it or don't buy it or whatever. So I just have to say, the job that they did promoting this fight is second to none. It was amazing.
So coming into this fight, you teased that, hey, if Conor wins, you really like the idea of a lightweight title rematch. But this week, there's been a lot of fan demand, it seems like, for him versus Masvidal. And now that you're saying, hey, you like him at 170 pounds, what do you think makes more sense? A lightweight title fight, or maybe this fight with Masvidal?
Yeah, listen, every time there's somebody out there fun, there's always somebody fun that can match up with Conor, and everybody wants to fight Conor. Everybody's wanted to fight Conor for the last however many years. When you look at what makes sense, right, we're at a place right now where Conor was saying, going into the Khabib fight, he had lots of personal stuff, some stuff self-inflicted. He had injuries. He had all these things going on. And he has been obsessed with getting that rematch because he knows that he wasn't, 100% right. And when you look at this for Khabib is 28-0. He's undefeated, right? You start talking about this kid's legacy. First of all, to go 28-0 in this sport is, I don't care who you fought, it's tough to do. Right? Well, this guy's the world champion. And, after tonight and with how Khabib won the first time and how famous Khabib has become since that first fight, we're looking at like, you know, Hagler Hearns. We're looking at like, you know, Ali Foreman, Ali Frazier. This is a massive fight with global appeal. It's the fight that you make. It's the fight that makes sense. It's for the 155-pound title. If Conor and Masvidal fight, neither one of them even have a title. Although Conor does want his BMF title, but he doesn't have a world championship. So Khabib's the fight to make. It's huge for Khabib's legacy too. I mean, if he beat Conor McGregor, then he beats Tony Ferguson, then he beats Conor McGregor again, and I mean, this is how this kid, when he retires, he's 30-something and 0, and he's beat all the best.
Crazy. Last thing for me, Dana, Cowboy, want to get your thoughts on him. I mean, obviously a future UFC Hall of Famer, an all-time great. You said it. People are going to criticize, say shot, that sort of thing. What do you see for Cowboy moving forward? I mean, would you recommend he only fights at 155? Do you want him to take time off? What would you do?
He fought a 55-pounder tonight. You know what I mean? It's just like, people are going to do it. It's just you can't stop it. This is what people do. Media, fans, whatever. Conor McGregor looked ridiculous tonight. Nobody saw that coming. Nobody. And the way that he went in there, the way that he did it, he looked fast, he looked sharp, he looked strong, and it was all about Conor. Had nothing to do with Cowboy being shot or anything like that. Kev?
Hey, Dana. You know, everybody talks about Conor's physical skills, but do you think what separates him maybe from a lot of guys is his mental ability? And it seems like, you know, he's a good game planner, and he just has that ability to put everything else out of the way and kind of focus on a fight, and it might be the thing that separates him from a lot of guys.
That kid has an incredible fight IQ, and he has the speed, the power, and the ability to back it up and implement.
And during your career, you know, you've seen a lot of guys that, you know, they were tough guys and they lose fights and they don't come back the way, you know, he came back tonight. I mean, a lot of times guys, you know, kind of, they lose it and they're not the same confidence-wise. Is that another thing that you notice in him that makes him different?
Well, the other thing that makes it different is, more importantly than you lose one and you come back, is the time off. Time off is usually never very good for fighters. You stay active, you stay in better shape, your timing is better, all that stuff. And many of you know throughout the years with me talking, I'm a big believer in ring rust. I believe in ring rust. It's real. I've seen it. I've seen it happen. I've seen it play out. We didn't see it tonight.
And last thing for me then, you know, I told you I thought a Khabib fight would do $3 million with Conor, right? So I'm in agreement with you, but
I'll bet it does more.
Okay.
Listen, when you said that, I was with you. I'm telling you right now, Khabib versus Conor is the biggest fight in the company's and the sports history, but I think it might rival Conor and Floyd.
Interesting. So I'll just throw this out. I mean, he said he would fight in March. If that was there, you got 40 seconds. Here's your problem that you have if you wait for Khabib, don't you? Khabib's no guarantee to win, number one.
Right.
And then number two, if Conor fights in March, now you have him sort of on the same path, and then as soon as he wins, he's ready to fight the winner, as opposed to if, let's say, Khabib loses, now you don't know you have a rematch or what you do. Doesn't it make sense to bring him back and maybe put that Masvidal fight on underneath Adesanya, and you have or in front of Adesanya, but you have him fight again, gives you another big fight at the start of the year and keeps him active. As he only fought 40 seconds, as good as he looked.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different things that make sense that you could do. I gotta see what he wants to do. You know what I mean? I know he wants this fight, and I think he's willing to wait to get it. So we'll see. Listen, do I want Conor to fight 3 more times this year? Sure. You know, do I want to see Masvidal Conor? Sure. But you got to do what makes sense too. And I just really think the Khabib Conor fight is big for both of their legacies and obviously for the sport.
Hi, Dana, to your right.
Hi. Hi.
Hey there. So Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, was here tonight.
What?
How interested would you be to put that Khabib and Conor fight in Raiders Stadium?
That is not what I thought you were going to ask me, but yeah, I think that the Khabib Conor fight, could be done anywhere. It could be done in a stadium somewhere. It could be done at Madison Square Garden, Dallas, Texas Stadium, the O2. I mean, you could do that fight anywhere. So we need to sit down and look at what makes the most sense.
There's been a lot said this week about kind of Conor 2.0, the evolution of Conor McGregor as a professional and as a man. What did you think about his role in the promotion leading up to this fight? He was much more introspective and laid back and not as kind of manic as he had been in the past.
Well, I think he was a lot happier. I mean, I told you guys after the first Khabib, when the whole Khabib-Conor press conference was playing out, I was like, man, this is the weirdest thing that I've ever been a part of. And then I told you guys after, this was super dark, man. This was a really dark press conference and then all that stuff. And if you look at the things that were going on with Conor at that time and, during and after that fight, what I saw this week was a guy who was happy, re-energized and happy to be here and happy to be back in the octagon. So it was good. It was awesome. I loved it. I like Conor McGregor. I mean, I know you guys, the fans, everybody bust my balls that, about my relationship with Conor, but I did not like this kid, right? I did not like him.
Last question for me. I want to talk about Holly. So she won tonight. Holly is 36. You talked about perhaps this being her last go. Do you still feel the same based off of what you saw from her tonight?
She looked good tonight. Her and Raquel fought to a split decision last time. And Raquel's tough. Raquel punches hard. Look at the fight between her and Amanda Nunes. I mean, that was a war between two tough girls. The problem with Raquel, and I've said this to her a million times, she will not let her hands go. She's got hands. She doesn't let them go. Oh, not to mention the fact that the ref let them clinch for 4 minutes for 3 fucking rounds, and they fought for a minute. That was a problem, too. Driving me crazy, man. If you are not doing damage or advancing your position, you split the fighters up and make them actually fight. And I like this guy. I don't want to, bum this guy out and whatever. But he's running around the octagon, I'm like, what fucking fight is he watching? He's moving around like he's trying to stay out of the way, like there's a fucking war going on or something. And these guys are leaning up against the fence for 4 minutes. Are you shitting me right now? I literally almost got up and walked out of that fight. I was so frustrated. But anyway, I've shit on enough referees in my day. I don't want to. That guy seems like a nice guy. I'm too old to be fucking doing this shit anymore, tearing these guys apart. He's a nice guy, and I don't mean to whatever, but you saw the fight. You know what I'm talking about.
Dana, there were a lot of great performances tonight. Right over here to your left. We've got.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, thanks. So a lot of great performances tonight. Who impressed you the most?
Diego looked really good, and that's a big win for him. But a lot of these kids look good. That's why we gave out 5 bonuses, right? How you not going to give Conor a bonus?
Right, of course.
Right? So, and Conor makes $1 zillion. So I had, I felt bad not giving one of these other kids a bonus too. So we gave them all bonuses. But he looked good. Look at Dober. I don't know if you saw if you don't know, now you know. Dober was in there, but, if you look at Dober's record, his opponent was the guy you were looking at. He's 11-2. He's on his way up, and look what he did. That's 2 back-to-back fights for Dober. So he looked damn good and had a good performance and made some money tonight.
How surprised were you with Roxanne Modafferi's performance? We know you liked Macy. Everyone did. She's a great fighter, young fighter. Were you really surprised, or did you think Roxanne?
No, I wasn't surprised. At the end of the day, when you're climbing the ladder like that, Roxanne is a tough test. We knew that she was going to be a big test for her. And if her knee didn't pop out, maybe it would have been a different fight. Because one of the things about Macy that I love, and I can't remember who she was fighting, but you guys might remember, she got her ass whooped the first round. Went back to the corner, readjusted, and came out and finished her in the second round. So who knows how the fight would have gone if her knee didn't pop out, but these things happen. She's young, she's talented, she's tough, and she'll be back.
I agree. Speaking about Diego Ferreira, I think he's probably due to fight a top 10 opponent soon, and he seems like a guy for real. You have any plans for his future that come to mind?
Yeah. He looked good tonight. So, and like I said, beating Anthony Pettis, and Pettis is ranked number 11 right now. So big win. What you don't want to do when you're that kind of guy is bust too far into the top 10. So we'll figure out what's next for him.
Last one for me. Obviously, it's not a pleasant subject, Alexa Grasso, that fight falling out. You may have seen that she's saying she's going to 25. She's not waiting or fighting you guys like some fighters do and say, no, give me another chance. She's herself said she's going to 25. Are you going to give her a chance there? How do you feel when someone misses like that, but they take it upon themselves to say, I will go up to the next weight division?
Listen, man, I said it the other day, too. We get pissed off when people don't act like professionals and make weight and everything else. Alexa Grasso is one of the sweetest human beings on this planet, and she's a professional, and something must have gone wrong in her camp. I think that if you look at her, she's gained a lot of muscle over the last year, and I'm wondering if that had something to do with her not making weight. But I actually feel bad for her. She's a great kid, and I look forward to seeing her at 25.
And for Claudia, I'm sure you're going to want to give her a quick turnaround.
No, I don't. She wants it. I don't want her to have to cut that weight again. She made weight, and she's a savage. She's terrorized. She wants to fight again and all this other stuff. I'm going to talk to some people and see how long we should wait for her to be able to cut weight again. There's no hurry. There's no hurry.
Awesome.
We're going to do whatever's safe.
Appreciate it, Dana.
Yep.
Yes. What did you make of the stoppage in the main event? Because there was some consensus online that perhaps Cerrone took a few more shots than were needed.
I thought you were going to say something else. I was going to be like, what? Yeah, that happened. What was the other fight that happened in?
Nasrat Takbaras, Drew Dober.
Huh? Yeah, the Dober fight. Yeah. He got hit with like 12 unanswered shots. Yeah, the reffing wasn't 100% tonight. I mean, that's a fact.
Okay.
I don't know if the Cerrone stoppage was horrible, though. I don't know if I would say that.
Well, what would you say about it?
At the end of the day, the reality is we're not in there. We're not the refs, and I wish it could be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. It's not perfect in football, basketball, or any other sport, and it's never going to be perfect here. And I think that it's probably one of the toughest jobs in all of sports, because everybody's an expert and everybody's a critic and everybody wants to rip you apart after they don't like the way you did it. But as long as nobody gets hurt, it's. I thought the Cerrone stoppage. Never once did I look at the fight and go, they should have stopped that sooner, like I did for the other fight, the Dober fight.
And then, so you're saying that the Khabib-Conor fight, should be next, but that seems to be completely based on the fact that Khabib wins the fight with Tony. If Ferguson wins,
I said that.
Well, what's the plan then? If Ferguson should pull off the upset,
Conor wants that belt back. He's going to fight whoever wins.
So it's regardless of.
Yeah.
Okay. And if Robert Whitaker had to pull out of his bout with Jared Cannonier, there's a lot of rumors online about Darren Till stepping up to take that fight. Is there something you can?
I think so. I think Darren Till hurt his foot or something, didn't he? Yeah. Ankle? Yeah, he hurt his ankle.
Is there any contingency plan for that fight right now? Because Cannonier,
we're working
right
on
at the top.
Yep, we're working on it.
Okay.
We just had a really big fight tonight. It just ended. We'll get that done, and we'll let you guys know when it's done.
All right. And the final one for me. In New York, I asked you about Alexander Gustafsson. You said that you've been in talks, that he is coming back. When we've talked to him, it's kind of like he doesn't want to say too much. So can you give us an update?
He doesn't want to say too much?
Yeah, he's kind of like, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But
yeah, that sounds like Gustafsson.
But can you give us an update? I mean, have you spoken to him about a potential timeline for a comeback?
No. But he wants to come back.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Dana, down here.
Hey, bud.
A minute ago, you were talking about some of the cities that a potential rematch between Conor and Khabib could happen in, right? Conor wants it to happen in Moscow. Is that even possible?
Nope. It ain't happening in Moscow.
Why not?
Why? Why do you think it's not going to happen in Moscow?
Pay-per-view, maybe? But I don't
There's
know.
many, many reasons why it wouldn't happen in Moscow. You know, when I just rattled off the places we could do it, those are the places that make sense. You're either going to do it in the UK, New York City, Dallas, Texas Stadium, the stadium here, T-Mobile. Those are all the places that make sense. Realistically, Vegas is always the place that makes the most sense when you have a massive fight. Unfortunately, Khabib is not a big Vegas fan after what happened to him last time. So, I don't know.
I think we've seen a very different side to Conor this week. Have you seen that, I guess, before in the lead up to this fight? Because we haven't really seen him for 15 months, and he's come back a very different person. But did you see that before he came back this week?
Yeah, Conor and I have had a lot of good conversations, and but you never know what's going to happen when Conor shows up and is getting ready for a fight. But he always had told me that he respected Cowboy. He likes Cowboy. Thinks Cowboy's a family man and a good guy and has always fought all the best in the world, and things like that. So I knew he liked Cowboy and respected him.
Obviously, in the run-up to the last Khabib-Conor fight, things got pretty dark, and as well as after the fight. Would you want the tone, I guess, to tone it down a little bit in the build-up?
I would really like that, yeah.
How do you do that?
I have no idea. I think that the hard part is when you have two guys who truly hate each other, and these guys hate each other. You're always going to have some emotions, especially the week of. They're both cutting weight, and it goes deeper than that, too. The camps hate each other. All the camps hate each other. There's a lot of bad blood there. So, as an organization, we have to do our job to make sure that none of that stuff happens, man.
And then, obviously, I know you've seen Floyd's Instagram post about doing Mayweather-McGregor 2.
Yeah.
Brett,
Floyd and I have been talking tonight, too.
what have you guys been talking about?
What do you think we've been talking about? Listen, we're doing something with Floyd. We're doing something with Floyd, and I don't know. It's like it's tonight's the night of the fight. You got the Khabib fight coming. There's so much going on. But Floyd is in our plans, and we are in Floyd's plans this year, and we'll end up doing something.
Dana, right here in front of you. Do you worry at all about Khabib maybe being a little difficult in trying to fight Conor again? He's mentioned multiple times he wants him to win 9-10 fights in a row. You talk to people around him, it doesn't seem like financial security is a huge issue for him. So
Let me tell you what, everybody talks about how rich Conor is. Khabib is rich.
So that's kind of
Khabib has that type of money.
Right.
Khabib has that type of money. And when I say that type of money, over $50 million. But the reality is Khabib has never turned down a fight, ever. Khabib doesn't turn down fights. That's just not his style. He hates Conor McGregor, and Conor McGregor hates him. So anytime you talk about one to the other, those are the type of responses you're going to get.
Right. And to circle back to Macy Barber, I asked you this question in New York about, her aspiration of being the youngest champion in UFC history and everything, and you're kind of expressing, how you need to matchmake and bring these type of fighters along. She's a minus 1,000 favorite tonight and ends up losing. Is this kind of what you were referencing in that sense, and maybe not pushing someone too quickly still?
You never know if somebody's knee is going to pop out during a fight. Those are things you can't see coming. Has nothing to do with the matchmaking.
Right. Do you give her a step back though after this, or do you think
Well, you definitely wouldn't. What was Roxanne, 7? You don't give her 6 or 5. maybe give her 8 or 9.
Right. And Alexei Oleinik, he got a bonus tonight as well. This guy is very unique in MMA. He's the first fighter to win across 4 decades, starting in the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 2020s. What do you kind of make of him? Fabricio Verdum called him out after and said he'd love to fight him when he returns from suspension. He's an older guy, very unique style. What do you just make of him?
Yeah, no, he's an incredible athlete, man. To do what he's done and still be doing it is very impressive. There's a lot of guys that did that, but they're not doing very well. Still hanging out and fighting, and or they're fighting bums, right? To be here doing what he's doing in this organization is tough to do.
Dana, just over here in the front, I'm just wondering, what's going on with, what would your plans be for Justin Gaethje? Obviously, he's right up there in the division as well, and if Conor has the next title shot, does that mean he'll be fighting again in the interim?
You know what? It's a great question. That's a great question, because there's been all this, what about Justin Gaethje stuff? The reality is, me and Justin Gaethje need to sit down and talk face-to-face and have a meeting. So I'll probably do that in the next few weeks and sit down with him. I like Gaethje. Gaethje's a great kid, and he's a super talented guy, and he and I need to get on the same page.
Because I know Conor wants to be, and I'm not sure what the status is now, but he wants to be like a backup in case something happens with his Khabib-Tony Ferguson fight in April.
I just want to be a backup. He's saying that fight's not going to happen. He has predicted that fight will not happen, and he will slide in and cut weight and do the fight.
Do you take that on board? Is that something you would consider, or?
Yeah. I ain't saying no to that one.
Because I was going to say Gaethje, I suppose he'd be in a position as well where he would love to be in a backup spot to that fight falling out too.
Yeah.
So there could be a couple of guys there. I'm just wondering, you've spoken about how big this Khabib-Conor fight rematch would be. How big do you think a Tony Ferguson-Conor McGregor fight could be? I mean,
that big. Conor McGregor and this guy right here with the camera is a huge fight.
Hey, Dan, you're right. So if you want Khabib versus Conor, and then would that leave Usman versus Masvidal? Is that what would you like in a perfect world?
Guys, me, you, and everybody else knows that's the fight to make. That's the fight. The fight is Masvidal and Usman.
Speaking of Usman, did you catch that his Twitter got hacked tonight?
Yeah.
Do you know what happened there?
Crazy. I mean, she brought it to me and told me, what do you think the first thing I did was when I read that? And she told me his thing got hacked. The first thing I'd think about this. Think about, did you see the tweets that were going out?
Yeah.
Right? What do you think the first thing I did was? What did he say? That's probably what I should have done. I called Conor. I said, he got hacked. So don't say anything, don't do anything. Usman and Ali are sitting right in front of where Conor comes out and does the thing. Yeah, so the first thing I did was tell Conor that. And he didn't believe it. He doesn't believe he got hacked. But we had no problem, so.
Ali said that the UFC was looking into that. Do you know what the outcome was? Okay.
They put his bank account out there and his PIN code and crazy shit. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Horrible.
And then, have you thought at all about what's next for Cowboy? He's lost 3 in a row now, but obviously all against the very best in that division.
Yeah, he lost to number 1, number 3, and number 4. So, I don't know. I'll talk to him and see what he wants to do. But we all know the answer to that question. He's like the lighter version of Chuck Liddell. It's like this is what the kid does. It's what he loves to do. It's who he is. These are the not so fun part of this job when you have to have these kind of conversations and ask him what he wants to do. But I don't know.
Will you ask him to take like a break or maybe
Yeah, I'd like
fight
to see
guys
him
who are not ranked as high? Maybe?
No, that's not what we do here. We don't do that here. So, when the rankings come out on Tuesday, we'll see where he ranks, and that will determine what fights he would fight next. But if you feel like you should fight guys that aren't ranked in the UFC, you probably shouldn't be fighting in the UFC, because there's plenty of places you can go where you can actually make a lot of money. You know?
Last thing for me, Nate Diaz has tweeted a bunch of things tonight, a bunch of different things tonight. Have you spoken at all with him? Has Hunter spoken at all with his people over the last few weeks?
No.
In a perfect world, do you see him fitting into any of these plans coming up this year?
I don't know. I don't know. Not off the top of my head, no. I don't know what Nate wants to do next.
Thank you.
Over here to your left, Mr. White.
Yep.
Good evening. How are you? Over here.
Hey, buddy.
Hi. How are you doing? First question. You seem to flick of a mention there that it is a possibility that the UK could house a Conor McGregor fight.
100%.
Would that be at Wembley Stadium, as we've seen with Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, you could do any of the big venues out there.
The Cardiff Stadium as well, the Millennium Stadium. They both take 80, 90,000.
Yep.
When you go back to the office on a Monday morning, you haven't had Conor McGregor for 15 months. Does it make your job easier? And what I'm asking is he arguably, Conor McGregor, the most complete package we've ever seen in the history of fight sports?
Yeah, I mean, this guy is such a huge superstar. I mean, I put him up there with Tyson, Leonard,
Ali,
all of them. He's got the biggest pay-per-view in pay-per-view history, and he's, how many of the top 10 does he have? I don't even know, but he's one of the biggest stars out there. A lot of times coming up in his career, he's been doubted for his talent, and, he proves everybody wrong every time. And, I mean, the kid is just such a massive superstar. So does it make my job easier? Yeah, one day out of 365 it does, yeah. Obviously promoting a Conor McGregor fight is fun. It's whatever, but I wouldn't say it makes my overall job easier now.
Is it fair to say that he's worth probably more than $2 billion to the company if you can keep him fighting for the next couple of years?
$2 billion?
Yes.
Sounds like a good number. I'll take that. I don't know what he's worth to the company, but it's big. Let me put it to you this way. I just thanked ESPN for the promotion that they did, right? You couldn't go anywhere without seeing this fight and knowing that this fight was on. If you had to pay for what ESPN did for the promotion of this fight, what's that number? It's a massive number, right? Then, all the people that come out and watch the fight, this is one of these fights that people who normally don't buy, right? So the number is always massive. Then Conor comes out and does what he did tonight. You can't put a number on that. It's massive, and it's global. The whole world is watching tonight.
But when you say you can't put a number on, can we say $2 billion?
No, I just said you can't put a number on it. You can't put. It might be more than $2 billion. Who knows what the number is? It's massive.
Thank you.
That was weird.
Just said it might be more than
You guys good? Huh? Paulo Costa? Yeah. Yeah. So May, June. Yeah. So, all right. So May, June, he's supposed to be ready, right? That's if nothing goes wrong during the recovery and whatever. Israel Adesanya wants to fight Yoel Romero, okay? Nobody wants to fight Yoel Romero. Nobody does. And he is, you made a face like somebody might want to fight him. What was that face? You gave me the meh. You know somebody that wants to fight? Yeah, exactly. Nobody wants to fight him. Believe me, we make the phone calls. Nobody wants to fight Yoel Romero. Israel wants to fight him. Israel has the title. Israel feels that his legacy will not be complete if he doesn't beat Yoel Romero. How do you not respect that? I respect it. And people will want to see it. And I promise you it will be a great fight. So we're going to do it. And then we'll do the Costa fight after. And it gives, and what it does is, it doesn't rush Costa. Costa's in this big rush. We're watching his Instagram the other day, and the guy is working out like he's training for a fight right now. Which you shouldn't be doing that when you just got done with surgery. Then they're saying you're not even going to be ready till June, right? You shouldn't be training like that. You know what happens when you do that? You get hurt again. That's what's going to happen. So he needs to pump the brakes and slow down, make sure he's 100% and doesn't get hurt again, and then we can do that fight after Romero.
Dana, obviously, there's a lot of focus on Conor's behavior, and I think casual fans who watch tonight are just as curious what he's going to do leading up to the fight and after the fight as what he'll do during it. Do you think his attitude in the lead up to this had more to do with his respect for Cowboy, or as someone who knows him well, do you feel like he's changed significantly over the last 15 months?
I don't know if you can change significantly in 15 months, but what I said earlier, I think he's happy. He didn't seem happy before. He was always pissed off, and, there was something wrong leading up to those other fights. There was something wrong with him. I don't know what it was, but obviously it's changed. And what I think this fight did a lot of really good things for Conor McGregor and everything else. And Kevin wrote a story the other day saying, guess what? I like Conor McGregor again. You know what I mean? And I bet a lot of people felt that way going into this fight. And I think that, especially in the fight business, people forget easily, quickly, and people are forgiving when you come back and you try to get your life back together and you have this great comeback story. And I think tonight was that story for Conor McGregor. You're always going to have people that won't like you, but I think a lot of people jumped back on the McGregor bandwagon tonight and became fans. Did I get everybody? We good? I think. What? Oh, now you want to talk about Tom Brady, right? What was he, what? Oh, how would you not like the fight? I thought, when she asked me the question earlier, I thought you guys were going to ask me, hey, Tom Brady was here. Davis was here. I saw them talking. What's going on? Are you guys fucking Las Vegans or what? Come on, man. If that dude isn't playing for Boston, he's playing here. All right? So, I don't know. I have fucking no idea what I'm talking about, but yeah, he liked the fight. What was I gonna? Well, before Kevin threw that at me, what were we talking about? Did I ask you something? I was gonna tell you something. Kevin ruined the whole thing. I forgot what I was gonna say. But how many members of the media were here for this fight? There's 187 members of the media here for this fight. And thank you guys all for your work this week. And it was an incredibly successful event. And you guys are all a big part of that. And I really appreciate it. Have a good night.